All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I am doing a major market video. I'm going to very much focus on the SP 500 and the SPY. It still really blows my mind that more people really care about this than the NASDAQ. I definitely trade tech stocks, so I just care more about NASDAQ, but I don't care what I think, right? I'm here for the people. So I will focus on those two for sure. I will flash the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones because honestly, I do think it's really important to know what all three look like. But yeah, it'll be like 80% this and 20% the other two, right? So that is the plan. Okay, next thing. I for sure got last week wrong, right? When I made last weekend's video, Yellen did not say we were going to bail out the banks. So what I thought, obviously we'll talk about the technical shortly, right? I thought this fall of all the moving averages combined with the fact that they were not going to bail them out, that no one was going to get out more than $250,000 that the FDIC covers. Yeah, I for sure thought that string of green was just going to like run us down. You know what I mean? I thought we were going to lose this and just hard drop to honestly maybe 737, okay? The fact that we got bailed out but not really bailed out, right? They didn't use that term. They did some stuff that didn't hurt taxpayers funds, and I don't necessarily know if I believe all that noise, but yeah, the government did a really good thing for sure, right? What'll happen in the next 5 years from this good thing, I don't know. I don't know the consequences, right? That's not why you watch my videos. But that's good. The other factor is that Europe is doing much worse than the US. So I do not pretend that I follow the news and stuff like that, right? But there are people I follow that stay current, right? And I read their stuff. And someone mentioned that, okay, obviously the Swiss bank drop is not a good thing, right? And we might see a merger on Monday. That's kind of what it sounds like. They might consolidate into one. But the fact that Switzerland also had a bank collapse just goes on top of the fact that Europe had worse and still does have worse inflation issues than the US. That might be enough for a lot of money to flow out of Europe and into the US. Okay, so those two things, the fact that the US at least did well with their banking crisis, right? I don't know if there's going to be another one next week, right? But hey, at least we survived the noise because of the decisions people made, right? And two, it seems like the European decisions, both on inflation and on this banking crisis that might be more than just Switzerland for all I know, right? Again, I'm not super up to date. Those might help the US stocks do well. Okay. All that said, after that little portion, all I'm going to do is talk about the technicals, right? That's what I sincerely believe I know well, right? And I'll give you my opinions on that. Things still don't look fantastic, right? So again, we'll talk about the details shortly. What are we going to do before that? Same thing we always do, right? My little intro here. We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up short term at least. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll look at the MACD, the RSI, and the volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. But even if you don't, I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for watching these, okay? And then, hey, if you disagree with anything I got to say, either the kind of unusual non-technical analysis start to this or any of my opinions on these lines, throw it in the comments, all right? I'm not perfect. I clearly got last week wrong, right? So your thoughts might be way better than mine, you know what I mean? So two-way street here. Okay, let's get into it. I'm gonna zoom in because this is the focus, right? So again, we see the consequences, and really consequences is a good word here, right? But this is what happens when the market believes good decisions were made, right? I sincerely believe that this would have been a significantly worse down than this recovery up was. And it was a pretty good one, right? We go from 38 to, yeah, I can't do that math real quick. It's definitely way less than 10%. It's maybe around like 4%, right? A little more than $1.50. But yeah, I mean, when the markets can go up about 5% a week, basically 1% a day, that's good. Like it sounds small and insignificant, but that's the market doing its job, right? What really bothers me is just this. Look, I hate moving average clusters, all right? And we have all 5 of them right here, right? It's actually, as I zoom out, I kind of see it's actually been doing this for a minute, and we just kind of oscillate, and that's what we're doing here, right? I really want a significant break up or down, right? I really hate trading when we're in moving averages. Look, either we break the 50 and we fly, or we lose the 8 and we die, right? And I think more than anything, it's really the 200. I think it's break the 50 and fly, or lose the 200 and die. Because again, the 200 is the one that's flat. The 50 is the one that's flat. The 8 and the 20 are obviously going to be moving, right? And you want to be above the 8 and the 20, not below like we are right now, right? So, and look, I always say it. I think you very much see it here, especially on Friday. Breaking the 20, this 20 is such a pesky line. Obviously, rule 1 is get over the 8, and hey, we did it. Not only did we do it on Thursday, but we broke 3 moving averages on a single day. I'm kind of like getting ahead of myself, right? Let me take a step back. Gotta get over the 8 for sure, but for real, you have to get over both. Because the way it works is you need to use both the 8 as your bounce and the 20 as your bounce, and the 20 as your bounce. You need 2 of them, right? So otherwise, either this one blocks you or that one blocks you. This one blocks you or that one blocks you, right? So 8 and the 20, super important on our individual $50 stocks, $5 stocks, penny stocks, super important on our major SPX, SPY, same thing, right? Look what else happened, right? So obviously we failed breaking the 20, but what was I saying moments before? We broke 3 moving averages on a single candle. What does that mean? I need monster confirmation. It's really hard to break 1. It's really hard to break 2. It's that much harder to break 3. It's more than half of the 5 that we cover. So yeah, it needed to come here. Look, here's another example. It's hard to break 2. This one actually breaks the 8 and the 20 on the gap up. Does not give the confirmation we need, and you can see it makes its way down. This does not break the confirmation. Sorry, this one does not give us the confirmation for this, right? So I don't know if this is symbolic of kind of this, right? So did we lose the 8? No, it looks like we're still over the 8. Man, by $2.12, give or take, 10, whatever the cents is, but you can see that we closed at 39.16 and the 8 is at 39.14. So yeah, by $2 and a little less than 20 cents, we're at least over the 8. Hey, I'll take it. But again, we've fallen below the 200, and that's not what I like. We very much need to stay there. And look, what I also don't like is the 8 looks like it wants to keep going down, and the 20 still want to keep going down. Despite this nice little 4-day string, even with the nice pop on Thursday, there was still no like uptick on the 8. There was no uptick on the 20, right? So what do I see? Honestly, I still see a whole lot of reasons to be scared. I really, really do. Until we can get over the 20, I obviously getting over the 50 matters to me way more, but getting over the 20 is probably like my minimum, my bare minimum for me to become bullish. Really ironic that I said bare minimum to be bullish. That was not an intentional pun. I hope you like that though. But yeah, I think as long as we're under the 20, as long as the 20 keeps looking like it wants to keep going down, I have to believe it's going to do that as it does with the 8, right? Because again, I'm just zooming out a bit, right? I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be this long. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be this long, but you can see it, right? There's at least not that fat a gap. I'm glad they're not like super apart from each other, but even when they are close, it can still distance, right? So as long as I'm seeing the 2 lines go down, I have to assume that, right? I have to, until I start seeing something, till I start seeing something with both of them too, right? This is where they both do it. This is where just the 8 does it, right? So again, I'm not being a hater. I'm not being a short. I'm not being a this or a that. I'm reading the lines and being honest, right? MACD's in the negative. I don't like that, okay? It looks like, though, we are roughly where we were last time before we saw a decent recovery, right? So that's definitely something to keep in mind, right? This RSI was 36, 41. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the MACD. That was really stupid. Sorry. Nonetheless, lines up pretty well, right? Let me just go back a little more. Yeah, from here, this is pretty much where we've been. And actually, this is nice to see too. I don't think I've realized this. I don't think I've taken this step back in a while. So we're still at least uptrending, right? Obviously, it's not as pretty as that line used to be. But yeah, even catching here and recovering, we're still going up, right? I'll at least take that in some ways, right? But hey, even if you're right here, you're still technically going up, right? So obviously there's a lot of this going on as well, right? So, and look at that. That actually pretty much hit exactly on the trend line, right? I hit the top of that, top of that, top of that. It was a hard rejection. So, yeah, honestly, I'm still worried. And I think we're probably bouncing in these two lines now. I think we're going to bounce between 39.8 and 38.1 if I had to guess. Because look, this is a strong line. It held right here. It actually held right here before it's like, I do believe this is a strong line. So it's not going to go away without a fight. Yeah, cool. Volume's picking up. It's just a little bit of a mixed bag of volume for sure too. I definitely see more red than green. Um, Yeah, RSI is just actually a little too flat for me to say anything. Yeah. Okay, I think that's the daily right there. Let's see what the weekly tells us. This ain't that good a weekly. We're definitely well below 4 out of the 5 moving averages. I'm glad, again, like I said, we didn't go to the bottom of the cluster, right? We're at least a little closer to the middle, but look at this 39.8 line. The thing that I said, I don't think we're going to get that much over. There are three, at least two, but there's pretty much 3 moving averages stacked right there, right? And again, on the daily, we already have the 8 and the 20 going down. We're on the weekly here. I don't want these two to start going down, right? So it's actually really important that something happens quick. But honestly, I think this I still see more reason to believe we're coming down to 37.30 than I believe that we're going to at least 34.2. I don't think crossing 4,000 is in the books. I think maybe we'll go to 4,000 at the peak. I think this 8 on the weekly, but again, this 39.8 has 2 lines on the weekly, and it's just in the mid. Like I think we're dancing here. I do. I think that's what's coming up for SP 500. Let's take a look at the monthly just real quick. Man, yeah, obviously we're a little closer to the end of the month than the beginning, right? Obviously, we'll call it in the middle. I mean, I guess we're closer to the 15th than either, so that was kind of stupid. But yeah, we are on the 8. Are we under the 8? Man, we are $5 over the 8. That's a little too close to comfort for me, right? So we have a couple weeks left, and we must finish a lot closer to this 39.8 number than where we're at now. We really can't even close around 3,900. 39 flat is bad because that means we're going to lose the 8, right? So I need to come a little closer up. Otherwise, again, I think this 38 number sounds right, and we got that 37 number from the weekly, and it's also roughly this 50% candle, right? So 37.2 kind of stands out as well. So I think that's my SPX. Oops, wow, that was dumb. SPY. Let's look at the SPY. So again, it's less about repeating all my words, but it's basically the same thing, right? We destroy 3 moving averages. We can't do it. I'm still seeing that same downtrend right there. Let me just draw it just so you guys believe me, right? You know I try not to lie to you. That's not my game here. But yeah, we are pretty much going exactly downtrending on that line, right? So on that line being the 20 moving average. What else looks common? Yeah, again, I don't have the line here, but you can see it, right? This 38, this is the exact same line that we have on the SPX, right? On the SP 500 itself. If we lose this, I'm just going to draw it. Like, why am I just talking about it and pretending it's there, right? If we lose this plateau, it's going to be bad, right? And again, I still say I don't have the exact numbers, right? I'm still going to keep this line. I don't think I need to. Do I need to move this line, actually? No, I think we're okay. I like it because yeah, it's pretty. I'm okay. Sorry, I'm talking to myself right there. But yeah, if you lose 38, it could be a quick drop down. Otherwise, yeah, again, 37, 374 should be a good place to stop it because that's roughly the top of this guy and kind of the middle of both of these. So 374 seems realistic, but look, 380 is going to do its best to hold it. It did one super strong plateau. It did one like oscillate thing here. I can see it kind of try to oscillate before it says, I'm sorry, just go down to 365. Just, I think my 2 cents there. That I went specific on because there was an SPY question. Again, what do I see? I see us at least going a little closer to the middle, but way closer to the 200 than this. And again, that same cluster. I don't see us breaking 396, 400. I think it's going to be super hard. If I had to put a max on it, I would say 401. Again, this 370, same 3700, right? So, yeah, and then monthly, again, same story. We're actually below the 8 here. We got to get the 8, that's for sure. So, all right, let me quickly just show NASDAQ and Dow Jones, okay? NASDAQ breaks almost all of them, 4 moving averages on a single candle. That's not good confirmation, but it's not necessarily horrible confirmation. Obviously, I wanted to come here, maybe even here, right? Like I wanted to move up from a nice little 4 break. I'm glad we held 50% candle. I'm glad we stayed over the 20 moving average. Obviously, I'm glad we stayed over this, right? But if we lose, I think if we start coming a little closer to like 11.5, I think we might lose 11.5 and kind of come back towards 11.3. I'm not sure if we're holding this 200 or not. I'll be honest. I sincerely would want to look at my bigger stack of indicators to see it. I actually haven't. I really do these videos before I look at my stuff. But, oh, where did that line come from? Sorry, I just realized this little purple guy's hanging out. What are you doing over here, guy? Get out of here. But yeah, I need a couple more days, right? I really want to see, are you going to bounce on the 20 or not? Or for sure, are you going to bounce on the maybe even the 50 right here? Actually, I said it before, the 2, maybe you have 3, you actually have 4, even the 8 can do its job, right? But either this 20-50 cluster or this 200 has to bounce. Like, there's way too much here to lose it, but I'll be honest with you. I think I'm just a little scared of how like the climate around us looks. And I just really don't know enough about this banking situation to like know, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you, if we bounce and keep going up, I'll for sure believe we're coming at 12.25. Like, this is, I think, the point that says if we're going to bounce from here to here, or if we're losing and maybe at least coming back down to 11, right? But I think by Wednesday, I would have to guess. Like, let's say we just like doji on Monday. Let's even say we doji on Tuesday. I can't imagine by Wednesday we don't make a decisive move. So let's just see what happens there. And then where's the DJ 30? Just really quickly, look, the Dow Jones is under the 200, all right? Obviously, it's trying to kind of oscillate with the 8, but look, the 20's going down, the 8's going down, and I think the fact that the Dow Jones and SP-500 kind of scare me, but the NASDAQ doesn't is what's freaking me out. The 3 of them are supposed to be doing the same thing. That's the rules here, right? So, that's what's holding me back from NASDAQ. But again, if NASDAQ makes the bounce that it's supposed to, oh man, I will, you know, I'll disregard whatever I got to disregard and just again follow the technicals. That's my game, right? But that's a scary volume on Friday for the Dow Jones for sure, right? So definitely a little bit longer of a video I've made in a while, but again, no one's actually been watching the Dow Jones or the NASDAQ, so I figured let me just kind of piggy bank on the SP-500. I appreciate your time so much. I don't know if you stayed the whole 19, but I'm telling you, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.